You might hate me for saying this to you, but if you don't realize this one thing in your life right now, trust me, there's no way that you can get successful in life. And when you realize it much later in your life, it's just too late. So, the one thing that you need to realize in your life right now is that anxiety is a very important aspect of growth in life. So many of us fear anxiety. We try to run away from it. Whenever we're posed with difficult situations which gives us those anxiety attacks, we just want to run away from that. But the reality is quite simple. We need anxiety to grow. Imagine this scenario for once. You've been given a role in your school assembly where you want to present something in front of your school, and you have around 100 students waiting for you to speak. You feel like your heart is going to just beat out of your chest and you feel so much anxiety. Now you need to go through that experience in order to build confidence, because if you can't speak in front of 100 people in your audience in school, how can you become a leader who ends up speaking in front of thousands of people? So you need to go through that experience in order to build confidence and become accustomed to that sort of an anxiety. Imagine this another scenario as well. You're sitting for interview, and just before the interview you feel so much anxiety, you're sweating so much, you just don't want to go through it, but you know that you need this job. And you just know that if you crack this interview, you are going to get a job with such a high package which is going to solve so many of your life's problems. Yet again, you feel so much anxiety just before the interview. All unpredictable situations, or all difficult situations, or situations that we haven't encountered before in our lives gives us a lot of anxiety. And that's why whenever we have something very unpredictable happening in front of us, or something that we did not plan to happen, gives us so much dread and we just don't want to go through it. But whenever you get this feeling of dread, whenever you get this feeling of anxiety, then that means you're actually growing in your life. Your first interview is going to make you extremely anxious, but by your second interview you're going to feel a little better, and by your 100th interview you're going to get so accustomed to it that it's not going to give you anxiety anymore. The same goes for the first time that you deliver that speech in your school assembly. It's going to give you a lot of anxiety. You're going to want to run away from the stage. But by the 100th assembly, or by the 100th talk show or public speaking seminar, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel like you own the stage. And that is how we grow in life. Now imagine this. Whichever situation you're in, if it stops giving you anxiety, what does that tell you? It tells you that you're not growing in your life anymore. And that is precisely why we need anxiety in life: to grow, to become successful, to beat the competition around us, or just become a better person in life. Now, before you take my word for it, there's a very important distinction I need to tell you, which is the difference between growth anxiety and toxic anxiety. There is a positive side to anxiety, but there's also a negative side to anxiety, which comes from toxic anxiety. But based on the first part of my video, you would think that anxiety is good. So even if I'm really stressful at my workplace, it's okay, I'm growing in life. But this is where the distinction between growth anxiety and toxic anxiety lies. And I need you to know exactly when to put pause in certain situations. Now, toxic anxiety is something which is going beyond our capabilities to cope. Let's say you're in a job that you absolutely hate. It's a job which is draining the energy out of you and you don't want to live anymore because you hate your job so much. That right there is toxic anxiety. If that job is not giving you the growth that you aspire to have, and I'm not talking about superficial growth, I'm talking about personal growth, then that right there is toxic anxiety. And growth anxiety should also end after a certain point of time. That first talk show that you give in your assembly, yes, you were feeling anxious before you went on the stage. But after the performance was done, you felt okay. And that's when you know that's growth anxiety. When that anxiety persists for a very long time in your life and it's bringing out extreme negative emotions in you, then that means you need to cut off from that situation. But having said that, don't shy away from growth anxiety. Don't shy away from new experiences just because you feel that dread, just because you feel so anxious of taking that first step forward. If you do not take up new experiences, if you do not experience difficult situations to a healthy limit, then you're limiting growth in your life to a certain degree. And with that, we've come to the end of the video. I really hope that this video brought out a lot of value in you. And if it did, I would love for you to like this video because it really helps helps the algorithm in pushing the video to many more people. So you take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.